Hello, I'm Captain Trips, and today I'm going to be finishing 3 swords. My core of choice for longer, higher-end swords is these fluorescent driveway markers. They're pretty great, they're really cheap, easy to find, and they bond really well with super glue, which is what I've used to adhese these all together, give a nice, strong, solid core. I have 3 of them. Alright, and then for the blades themselves, I'm going to be using this EvaFoam floor mat. I had these cut out last night, and they've been pressing all night to lay flat, as opposed to the roll they had previously been in. If you don't have all night to have these set out and pressed flat, just take your little heat gun, a little bit of heat, keep them flat till they cool. They should retain that shape. Alright. So, I'm going to be cutting out, or tracing out, the blank sword templates. Now, tools you want to have is a nice straight edge, a ruler, and a square thingy. I don't even know. I'm sorry at first. I'm going to plan out how you're using your foam because I'm going to be doing it this way. If I did it this way, I would have 2 awkward pieces of foam, whereas if I do it this way, I'm going to have one nice sheet back over here that's still unused. So I'm making this ridiculously large claymore because a friend of mine had a really nice Kalamazoo claymore that was broke in a terrible helmet claymore accident, and they don't actually make the sword anymore, and they can't repair it because they don't carry cores that are actually long enough to repair it anymore. Alright, so I'm going to be cutting these blades out with quite a bit of excess because I want to do some kind of fancy carving, things like that. So I'm going to give myself a good 3 inches per blade, even though they're going to probably scale down to a little under 2. It's kind of a waste of foam, but like I said, this is a gift for someone else. I really want to do a nice quality because a lot of people are going to be looking at it, and yeah. Oh wow, that'd been a perfect angle for what I was doing a second ago. So when you're cutting out your foam from either big sheets like this or even the smaller EvaFoam squares, you want to really think about what's going to give you the best use of the excess. So a little bit of planning, measure twice, cut once. That also applies to using glues. Don't glue the wrong surface and then have to cut a whole other piece out when you're supposed to be almost done. It sucks to do. As far as planning goes, another thing you want to plan for is when you're going to swap out your knife blades. Because these blades do go dull, and when they start going dull, you're going to start getting really nasty cuts. Alright. Where'd that ruler? And it's a lot better to waste some blades, swapping them out, than waste foam. Because you get like a pack of 10 blades for 99 cents. Going out and getting a whole other roll of foam is not easy. Oh my god, what is... Alright. So I didn't do a terrible cut. It wasn't a great one. Something you want to think about when doing your cuts, you want to do consistency. So every time you do a cut, try and hold the knife in the same way and move your pieces as you're cutting. Either move your body or move your piece, whichever is easier. But a nice 90-degree angle. Move your body back, cut another section. Move your body back, cut another section. And I'll explain why in a second. Alright, because when you do big long cuts like that, your knife isn't actually going to stay straight. It's going to go, you're going to start like this, and then as you make the cut, maybe you're going to straighten out to 90 degrees, and then as you like move past your body, you're going to curve down again, so you're going to have a really wonky edge. It's pretty simple, just cutting, trying to do the same thing every time, because you'll get that good muscle memory of how to make the nice 90-degree cuts. That's a big thing when using these scraps. Try and use the same mediums as much as possible, because you're going to get experience working with them. And the first thing you make is probably going to suck, but the next thing is going to be better, and each time it's just going to get significantly better. But if every time you do a project you're using a new medium, it's probably going to be pretty bad every time, because you're not going to have any experience working with it. Alright, and those are my sword blades.
Okay. So is the thing just called a triangle? Is that what it's called? Because it's really bothering me. I'm going to have to go upstairs and look it up, what this thing is called. I know it's not a straight edge. I just don't know, and it's driving me nuts. It really is. Alright. So the centerpieces I selected, I took my stack, I lined them all up nice, and I basically took the two thickest ones, because those are going to be in the center, and that'll give me the most room to work with. And then you line the cores up. All my cores are going to be recessed in 2 inches. So like so. 2 inches. 2 inches. Then I'm going to trim around the core. Like so. Alright, something you want to watch out for is you got to remember, just because it's evenly spaced here and it's evenly spaced here does not mean it's going to not be like all jacked up in the center, because this stuff curves. So okay. Alright, so hopefully you can see this. I scored where the core is going to be in the foam, but while you're doing this you want to make sure that these millimeters, like this one is basically 29 millimeters and this one's 30 millimeters away. I don't know if you can see that. So this one's like 29, this one's 30. So that's pretty good. But your cores can definitely, the foam can definitely twist like so underneath the cores. So you could have like 22 on this side and like 38 on this side, which makes your sword look really crappy. Alright, so I'm just going to cut these little slips out, and then we're going to attach the cores inside of them. Alright, so I just did a whole bunch of cutting with this when I was cutting out the claymore pieces. So I'm going to cut out one of these cores, and then I'm going to swap out blades. Where? Alright, there you are. So you definitely want to get in the habit of putting your tools in the same place when you're done with them, because it sucks when you're doing something and you're all over the place because you use something, you use a pen, and you put it down over here, and then you need your pen, and you gotta search for it, and you find it, and then after you're done with it, you put it over here, and once again you have to search for it. So try and get in the habit of just dropping your tools off in the same place. I don't do that. I'm a bad person. I should start. Maybe next video. I'm just cutting right on my table because it's a cheap little collapsible table. I don't really care about it. You can use cutting boards from like a kitchen to cut on. They actually sell them in rolls if you want a really big space to cut on. If you want something really huge, you can go to a hardware store and you can pick up sheets of plexiglass and just cut right on those guys, which are pretty big, so they give you a nice little area. Hopefully I don't stab myself in the face on camera. Maybe I get on Tosh.0 then. And this ruler has a little metal edge, so I don't have to worry about cutting into the wood. And it's a really nice guide to cut nice and straight lines. Yeah. So this blade needs to get swapped out because I'm starting to make some kind of black cuts. Maybe it's just me, but
Okay, so now I have all the core slots cut. You can see it's a nice tight fit, like so. All right, so next we gotta get some glue on the cores and the foam so we can adhese these together. All right, so I'm gonna start putting some glue down. I got the garage door open, so I have a lot of ventilation. Sorry about the birds chirping. You guys are just gonna have to live with it. Put up with my sniffling yesterday and me clearing my throat a million times today, so I think the birds won't put you guys off too much. Alright, first thing I'm going to do is get my glue. I found this this little mini bottle of DAP. It's really nice because it's got this problem where it glues itself to the cap. But other than that, alright, it's got this brush right in there, which is really nice. And basically I'm just going to go along and put a nice little layer of glue right in here. It doesn't really matter if you get seepage on this side or this side because it's going to be basically these are metal sections. They're going to be completely covered in glue eventually. So yeah, let's do this. So when using DAP, you got to remember that you need to apply it, and then it has to sit for a little bit, and then it gets a nice, good bond with the foam. Then if it's nice and tacky, you can just apply it as is. If it dried out a little too much, you just do a really light coat back on the DAP, and then you'll get a nice, good bond. It's a little tricky to work with. You need experience because sometimes it'll just be the most just tacky instant grab glue you're ever going to use, and then sometimes it's going to be literally just like a freaking lubricant and your foam pieces are just going to slide away from each other. If anyone knows better ways to do this, please shoot me a PM. I will thank you with my mouth on your genitals. Oh god. We're going to do the core next. This should go a little bit quicker. Keep in mind I roughed these cores up just a little tiny bit with sandpaper. And it gave me a little bit better adhesion with the super glue for gluing the cores together. And I'm hoping this can give me better adhesion with this, but I do some other stuff to keep the cores in place too.
A lot of people use double-sided grip tape when they're making, simple boffers, things like that. I'm not a big fan of that. Use the glue if you're going to be doing any kind of other crafting other than very basic, simple boffers. You're going to be using DAP, most likely, unless you have something else. But yeah, and you want as much experience using, whatever it is you're going to be using as possible. Alright, so here's the fun part. Getting this guy in here. Semi-straight manner. As you can see, I'm having a little bit of trouble here. It's not an easy thing to do. You just gotta be patient, take your time. Get glue all over your freaking hands. Alright, next up, we're just gonna throw all kinds of extra DAP right here along the seam where it meets and over the core itself. Alright, so now we got that done. This is drywall joint tape. It's basically just cloth. Make sure you know what you're getting beforehand, because I imagine some of this might be made out of a slightly thicker, more abrasive material that you might not want in your core, but this is just cloth. So this isn't necessary, but it's something I do. Small amounts of tape on my sword, but yeah. It's got a natural adhesive on the back. That's pretty good. But now with the DAP underneath it. Alright, so I'm going to do that on both sides. Thank God I'm recording. I thought I wasn't for a second. Alright, I'm going to do that on the other side of this, and then I'm going to do these two, and I'll get back to you guys.